Most people see passive income as a magic button to print money while you sleep. But at the starting line, that concept is a myth designed to sell you online courses. Real passive income is the delayed dividend of highly active, front-loaded work. When you buy into the zero-effort fantasy, the illusion will eventually crumble. Beginners who fall for this trap waste their limited startup capital and usually burn out within 90 days. Success requires a massive amount of uncompensated heavy lifting at the start. You have to build the engine before you can expect it to run on its own. In reality, you should expect 6 to 12 months of active work before you see any decoupling of your time from your income. This creates the beginner's dilemma. Most people pick a side hustle based on the highest payout, instead of matching the work to their own natural talents. If you choose a vehicle that goes against your nature, you end up competing against people who inherently enjoy the tasks you find grueling. When you hit the first major bottleneck, you will quit, while they keep building. Reaching that $2,000 a month milestone requires matching your specific constraints, your time and your money, to the right financial vehicle. Your first step is determining if your primary advantage is a pool of capital or an abundance of free time. We can use this evaluation framework to find your lane. On the vertical axis, we have high capital at the top and high time at the bottom. For those with cash but no time, we look at the high capital zone, which includes dividend investing and asset rentals. Dividend investing is purely financial. To generate $2,000 a month at a standard 5% yield, you have to deploy over $300,000 into the market. This strategy is highly stable and requires almost zero of your daily time, but it demands wealth that most beginners haven't built yet. Asset rentals lower the cash requirement by leveraging things you already own, like a spare room on Airbnb or an extra car on Turo. This path can hit your monthly income goal quickly, but it introduces physical liability, maintenance costs, and ongoing hospitality management. If you have capital but no time, your money must be the asset doing the work. For you, this is the only strategy that is truly passive from day one. If you are starting with zero capital, you have to rely on your time. At this point, your natural talent profile determines which vehicle will actually reach the finish line. We add a horizontal axis to our map. On the left, we have the analytical and structured type. On the right, the creative and communicator type. If you are good at building systems out of chaos and spotting data patterns, you belong in the analytical quadrant with dropshipping and affiliate marketing. Dropshipping allows you to build an automated e-commerce system with very little inventory risk. It is highly scalable because you never touch the product. However, the profit margins are often thin, around 20%. To stay profitable, you have to master ad spend and relentless data analysis. Affiliate marketing removes the product management entirely, but it requires 6 to 12 months of writing SEO-optimized content. The upside is a potential 15-to-1 return on your investment once the traffic stabilizes. On the analyst path, you sacrifice immediate payouts to build a data-driven system. For the creative profile, we look at digital products, print on demand, and stock licensing. Creating a high-quality ebook or course can take over 100 hours of uncompensated labor. It is a heavy upfront time investment. These products offer infinite inventory and 80 to 90% margins. But if your market research is wrong, the return on your time will be zero. Print on demand and stock licensing are lower risk options with true compounding potential and no upfront financial cost. Success in these fields requires massive volume. You will likely need to upload hundreds of designs over many months to consistently clear $2,000 a month. Creatives must leverage their ability to generate a high volume of original ideas to offset their lack of startup capital. Choosing your path is only the start. To actually build that income stream, you need an execution framework. You turn an active side hustle into a passive digital asset by following the skill maxing loop. This loop consists of 5 sequential steps: define, sell, deliver, fix, and systemize. First, you define your offer in its simplest form to avoid overthinking. Then, you take that imperfect product to market immediately to prove people will actually pay for it. After you have secured your first few sales, you move to the fix step. This is where you use AI to identify repetitive bottlenecks and remove them from your day-to-day work. Automation is powerful, but it requires active monitoring in the early stages. You have to prove the system works manually before you can trust the AI to handle it. The final step is to systemize. You use business management software to handle the admin, the invoicing, and the tracking, so the business can function without your constant input. When those systems lock together, the heavy lifting of the first 6 months gives way to a system running on its own momentum. This transition requires you to sacrifice the desire to do everything yourself. This is the exact threshold where an active business becomes a passive asset. Once your system is running, building a personal brand acts as a massive multiplier for your value. When CNN acquired Casey Neistat's company for $25 million, the primary asset was the authority and audience trust he'd built through his personal brand. While you're starting small, that same brand authority is what makes your $2,000 a month system defensible and scalable. Pick the vehicle that matches your natural advantage, commit to the unglamorous 6-month upfront grind, and relentlessly systemize until the machine pays you while you sleep.